Hey, what's going on, man? We back. Another special guest. You know that's all we do is interview special guests every episode, man. So, jumping right into the intro, man. We got one of the guys from back in my day. He paved the way for all of us AAU rec leagues here in the city of Charlotte. Went to Chaminade in Hawaii, of course. Legendary high school player, legendary AAU player, really paved the way, like I said, for all of us now that are playing AAU now and coaching AAU and, you know, going into these other lanes. And started off, we had some good foundational people around, like my man, the OG, new head coach of the Harding Rams. Really excited about that. We got Corey Baker here today, man.
Hey.
Charlotte's own.
What's going on, man? What's up, fellas? What's going on?
What's going on?
Been a long time. I ain't seen you guys in a long time.
It's been a long time. 5-star, baby.
Yeah, five-star days.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. He's also 5-star alumni. So let's get that out there.
Indeed.
Get that out there.
Yeah, I remember watching you play over there at Charlotte Latin, Maury. When you was over there at Charlotte Latin, went to Georgia Tech. So, you know, it's just an honor to be sitting here with you guys today, man, and talking to you guys.
Thank you for being here.
So I wanna just before I start, I want to thank the creator. I always start my podcast.
Likewise, yeah.
Absolutely.
With just thanking him for just just waking me up every day. That lets me know that I'm still in the battle.
That's right. That's right.
That's Corey, right. Let's just jump right into it. You're actually from Charlotte.
Born and raised.
Indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charlotte bred.
When did the basketball? When did you pick up a ball and say, you know what, I think I can do something with this?
Man, at a very early age, I was like 3 years old. I was like 3. My pops was a big-time basketball player around here, and so he had tried out for the Atlanta Hawks. And so everybody knew my pops and knew Willie Baker and knew, you know, that he probably had the sweetest jumper around. That was back in the day, and he was playing at Hawthorne. He was a type of player that a player half and have 40 points in one half. And so he had his jump shot was just like crazy.
Willie Baker.
Yeah, Willie Baker. He had to fade away before it was a such thing as a fade away.
Hey.
But he would take me and my brothers, my brother Adrian, my brother Cedric, and he was always have us out of the park over there, Veterans Park, and he played for his job. They would have teams, and he would always have us with us. So I'm like 3 and 4, me and my brothers, we dribbling 3 and 4 basketball. So I knew then at that age, God had gifted me with something that was very special. So I just kind of like fell in love with it. And I tell people all the time, my dad was like, if you ever saw the Jackson 5s,
Yes.
and saw how Joe was with his boys with the music.
Yeah.
That's how my dad was with us for basketball.
Yeah,
Right.
with the fist.
Yeah, with the fist. He didn't play. He didn't. If we miss a layup in the middle of the game, he'll stop the whole game, and he'll like, you better make this. So you learn real quick how to you know, dribble the basketball and things. So it was something we picked up.
You know, wow. For the listeners out there and also the viewers, this hit me in the gut because I had no idea his dad was the root in the bloodline.
Yeah.
So after you got, you know, tied in with basketball as a youth, let's just go right into the grassroots, the AAU. Who was your inspiration? Who was the coach that said, you know what, you have something, son?
Well, it was several coaches, but I think it's the one that stood out the most is Coach Clarence Johnson. That's who really made the impact in my life.
CJ.
Yeah, Coach CJ. Rest in heaven, man.
Yes,
rest in heaven, man.
Great speech you made, by the way.
Yeah, well, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I lost it when you went up there.
You and McGinnis that really hit the stomach.
And I'm still recovering from that moment right now, man. Just not having him here with me with this special moment right now, man. It still does something to me because
when he's looking down, he's proud of you, man. Yeah. That's it, right?
This job was me and his last conversation.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
On the very day that all of this happened, and God brought him home. It was later, like 1 o'clock in the morning. Me and him had just got off the phone, like at 7 or 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And our last conversation was things I needed to do, and he was giving me tips about what I needed to do when I interviewed for this job. At this particular job right here.
That was powerful, man. When you spoke at the funeral,
You said that.
so much stuff I didn't know, and it was just it was great, man.
Well, I can say this. Right now, man, he's got a big smile on his face, man, because this is something like, he may don't be here in the physical, but he's gonna be watching you, man, watching your games and cheering you on. So you just do what he would want you to do.
But and I agree with that, and I think I said something, I was telling somebody, even though he's not with us physically, he's still going to be sitting on that bench with me because he's in our heart.
Absolutely.
And
I like that.
Because CJ was, and to answer that question, Coach, is that he made an impact on my life. Because a lot of coaches made an impact on my life. A lot of coaches, even at an early age, they made an impact on my life. But for basketball, CJ made an impact on my life outside of basketball.
Wow. Mentor.
Yeah, a mentor. CJ gave me the kind of hope that, that you can be great other than just playing basketball. And even though my dad was very much, again, I learned everything I learned from my dad with basketball. So it wasn't a lot that coaches can teach me and my brothers basketball-wise.
Yeah.
Because we was already there.
You already had the package.
We already had it. We was already doing the things before basketball-wise. But CJ added another phase to my life on being a person. He planted the seed on a lot of different things with the hope and showing us and the people in North Charlotte that we can be great and that we can be amazing in life and we don't have to be mediocre.
Wow. Right. So let me just clarify this. CJ coached you what AAU team?
Well, I played for CJ started back in the early 80s. When CJ first came down, he was coaching over there at Belmont Center. And so he brought the first, you will love this, the first Rucker outdoor league down to Charlotte at Belmont Center.
This is unbelievable, man.
We did not know anything what that outside league was about. Now, granted, even at a young age, I knew about basketball. I knew about New Yorkers, and I knew about New Jersey.
He brought it here.
He brought New York to Charlotte, and over there at Belmont Center, he started the outdoor league, and so you had all of those guys that's from that area. Well, that gave us hope. We looked forward, and then he teamed up with a good friend of his, which came down here from New York with him, is Paul Stoney, and him and Paul Stoney had got the job over there at West Trade.
Okay, yeah.
Over there off of Belvedere, and so now
it's the rec center.
It was that Boys and Girls, which is a Friends daycare now.
Yeah.
And then so you had the North Charlotte and Belvedere. You had of all us, we would play against each other, and Stoney would bring them over there to North Charlotte. North Charlotte, CJ would take us back over there because they had an inside court. And so we were playing and we was competing. So we built relationships with another side of town.
Right. So he kind of like brought everybody together, like unified as well in the community.
And the hit was we would play our championship game at Johnson C. Smith. That's when they had Coach Moore there, and Coach Joyner was the girls' coach. So when after we did that, CJ got connected with the Sonics, and so
that was your team you played on with.
Yeah, I played on his very first Charlotte Sonics team.
Wow.
Right.
That was the year we came second in the nation.
Yeah.
We got beat in Las Vegas against Anthony Hardaway team. And that's when we had Rodney.
Anthony Hardaway?
Yeah, we got beat by Anthony Hardaway team in the championship game. But we were stacked, man. We had Warren Mason, went to Garinger. We had Keith Eisen, Larry Crowder, Rodney Farrington, Joseph Watts, Big Zay. We was tough.
Yeah.
We was tough. And so, but during that time, it wasn't all these other AAU teams.
Yeah.
So you had to be one of the top 12 in your division, whatever age group, to make the team. Because you ain't have no other team. If you weren't going to be on the Sonics, that means you was going to have to sit out and try again next year.
I'll go play church league or something like that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I mean, that's some unbelievable information we're getting right here. I guess Morrow and me both want to know, how did you wind up at Oak Hill?
Well, it's ironic. We sitting here in this gym right here.
How did you get there?
That's crazy.
It's ironic because I was a ninth grader here at Hardin High School.
Wow.
And now, granted, I had grown up playing AAU, and I was one of the top in my age group. So I'm already traveling and playing AAU. And by this time, I had left the Sonics, and I go with Ross Seifert with the Charlotte Royals.
Wow.
So I went and played with Seifert with the Charlotte
What
Royals.
age?
I was in the ninth grade.
And
About
Ninth
15,
grade.
14.
Yeah, about 15, 14. So I went to play with Charlotte with Ross Seifert. And Seifert and Seifert, the Russians that year had came to the United States. And they was playing against 20 cities in the United States. They was traveling. So I was just in, my 10th grade year. This is my 10th grade year.
Gotcha.
And so because when I was here at Hardin, I was getting in a lot of trouble. I was in the streets.
Yeah.
I was in the streets.
Interesting. I'm glad you touched on that.
I was in the streets big time. By this time, I already, even though I was playing basketball, I already had joined a gang called the He-Men. I already had started smoking weed. I already had started stealing cars. I already started driving. So I already had a bout with the law of going back and forth to jail for driving without license and just
So you was actually living both sides of the game.
Yeah,
for real.
I love that.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's what we here for.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on that,
Yeah.
because I can attest. You was in New York with me. You walked around the
Yeah.
neighborhood, and and I'm not popping my collar. I ain't even bragging about that, man. It's some guys don't make it.
No, and it don't. And I was very easy to end that, even though I had basketball, but I still has guys like CJ, still encouraging, trying to get me to do the right thing. But just as good as I was on a basketball court, my character was worse.
Wow.
So I wasn't going to class. I'm making F's in school, and I'm doing all of those things. And so when I got here to Hardin, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm smoking weed on a constant basis. I'm hanging around people who really I shouldn't be hanging around with, but I ain't want to get my ghetto pass revoked.
Yeah.
Right. That's how it is.
I don't want to get my,
Yeah.
So I get the opportunity to go to Providence Day. So now I'm living a double life because now I really don't fit in with them because all of them is white.
Yeah.
And then the people in the project, my boys, they looking at me sideways. They pretending they happy for me. But you think you're a little white boy, but you think you better than us now. So now I'm trying to show them how much thug I am.
Yeah. So now
So I'm called in that. And I'm pretty sure you can relate to that because you went to Charlotte Lab.
Look,
You two guys need to collaborate.
This is
Talk
like,
about this.
I'm talking about verbatim what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like I grew up, it was only 3 AU teams. I know back then it was just y'all and the Royals.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, and but it was like
Sonics and the
they went from the Sonics to the Nets.
Yes. And it's a story behind that.
Yeah, I know. Kerry told it when he came home.
Yeah.
And going to private school, and that's important. I'm glad you said that. That point right there was heavy because we were living on West Boulevard. We was living at the Kings Park apartments,
Yes.
Boulevard homes and stuff. But I was going to Latin, so it was like I ain't trying to live a double life. But the guys in the neighborhood is like exactly. You think you a white boy now? You think you're smarter than us?
Exactly.
And my mom, thank God for my mom. My mom was like, I don't care. You gonna deal with them or you gonna deal with me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know what you need to be doing. So I thank God for that. That's a big point.
Yeah,
like that's
and I didn't know how to navigate through that because I was already in the streets. My mom was a single mom, so by this point, my dad, he was in our life, but he wasn't in our life.
Yeah.
And so my mom working 2 or 3 jobs, and then I had an older brother. My older brother. Then by that time, my younger brother, who was born and rest in peace, he passed away. But
God bless you.
so by my 10th grade year, I had the opportunity that I went to Providence Day. Now I'm still getting in trouble, even though I'm not in the hood per se. I'm still going around them.
Right.
Association brings assimilation.
Well, if I may ask this question and throw it out there, because I'm getting a little, it's really coming to me. Who did like this, Corey? Listen, this is what you need to do.
Yeah. Well, it was a white guy
Okay.
by the name of B.V. Belk.
Wow. Oh.
B.V. Belk was always in my life, even when we was younger. He was one of those ones that played a part of my life.
Right.
He was a white guy, and he didn't have to do the things he did. I think he introduced me to another side other than he introduced me to another way of life.
Right.
How white people live, things that I can get, things that I can do. BV was one of the biggest real estate guys. He's not one was, he still is.
Yeah.
He's like the real estate tycoon.
Is he still alive?
Yes, he's still alive.
Yeah.
Still, you still see everything everywhere. And he was like that father figure to me and my brothers.
Right.
And so he the one took me out of hard and actually paid for me to go to Providence Day. Because his kids went to Providence Day, and he looked at me like one of his sons. And so he paid for me to go to Providence Day, but I'm still getting in trouble. But I was playing with the Royals, and Ross Seifert picked the team to go to play the Russians on ESPN at the South Carolina
Are you
Coliseum.
kidding me?
Wow.
And
Rod
so
had pool, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Rod.
I got picked, me and a guy by the name of Steve Rivers. I was the only sophomore.
Yeah.
Everybody else on that team was seniors. On that team, you had Everett Sullivan, who already had committed to Louisville. You had Stanley Robertson, who committed to LSU.
Yeah.
You had Derek McQueen, who went to University of South Carolina.
Heard of him.
You had JoJo Rhett. He played at South Carolina, played in the league.
Yeah.
You had Peter Faust at South Carolina State. You had Derek McQueen, Chris King at Wake Forest. So you already had top Division I players that already had committed.
And you
they
a
were
10th grader.
seniors, and I'm a 10th grader. And I got picked to play on that team. And we played against the Russians on ESPN at the South Carolina Coliseum. That's when Coach Felton was the head coach, and
Dennis
Dennis Felton,
Yeah.
and Tubby Smith was his assistant coach.
Damn.
And I had the opportunity to play in that game. That was the first time in my life that I didn't start.
Yeah.
That was the first time in my life.
Rod didn't start.
Yeah, I didn't know because he wasn't the coach.
Right.
You had big time coaches down there. How can I start in front of players who was already going top Division I?
But when you got in there,
But when I got in there, I made a difference.
Right.
And I was looking for a prep school to go to at the time because I just needed to get out of Charlotte for a different look.
Right.
And I was going to go to Fork Union and play with Coach Avery. And they was going to play me on a post-grad team. But then Oak Hill came in at the end of the moment. Now, here's the hit. The hit is Carlos Cofield from Charlotte. He already had committed to go to Oak Hill.
Yeah.
And he was a big-time player over there at Independence with him and Rodney Farrington and all of that. Mm-hmm. Well, CJ had made mention to Coach Smith about me. Yeah. So we got in contact with Coach Smith, and that's how I ended up going to Oak Hill.
wow.
That's big, man.
And you know, and because I knew I needed to do something different.
Well, I want to just say I want to thank Mr. Belk for stepping in your life.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you in the head with something right now. I don't even think you're ready for it. He gave us the 5-star office.
Yeah,
remember?
exactly.
Gave us the
That's
office
it.
for free.
For free.
Oh, for real?
For free.
Oh, beautiful office.
Over
Yeah.
there at, off of
Milton Road.
Yeah.
But here's the ironic thing about this whole conversation, man. See, that's why I paused and said, man, who grabbed you and said, hey, I want you to go this way. I don't want you to,
Yeah.
that's so important because, and again, I could say that because at one time, man, I was cutting up a muck up there, but I wasn't a bully. I was just, I looked at my brother Ronnie Johnson, who I idolized. He was a ball player and a gangster, and I just wanted that. And one coach told me, a guy named Skip Usey, Far Rockaway High School. I was in special ed class, and I went out and tried out for the team, and the coach cut me. When he found out I was in special ed, I was crying, I was hitting the wall. Yeah. Skip came to me, he said, what's wrong, Harold? I said, man, the coach, he said, I thought you made the team. Quick little story. He said, what happened? I said, man, he cut me, man, because he knew I was special ed. But I used to have to check in the morning, homeroom, didn't go to mainstream classes, so I wasn't really in, because I used to thump all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said, listen, I'm going to go talk to him. He went, talked to the coach, and at that time, I was getting ready to step all the way in the street. You're talking 15 years old. I already was going home seeing, like, craziness in my family life.
Yeah.
And this coach Skip Usey, wherever you are, man, thank you, man. He went to the coach, and he said, you cut him? because he was special ed. He said, no, he said he's better than the guys you got out there. At least 4.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, he came out. He said, listen, I'm going to give you a uniform. He said, but don't let me down. And so Belk did that for you.
Yeah, he definitely did that. He was that force. And that's why I was so blessed and fortunate. I think thank God had his hands on me. No matter what it did, I was equipped with a life that CJ was giving me, and then at the same time, I was equipped with a life that Mr. Beck was doing for me.
Oh man, this
and so that's why no matter what I did, I still knew my right from wrong, and I knew I wanted to be something in life. Because I knew I saw Mr. Beck making the money and the things he did, and I was like, man, I want this kind of life.
Yeah,
I want this kind of life. And so to this day, he still make a difference in my life. I talk to him, and even in my darkest moments in life, and it ain't no secret that I'm a recovering crack and heroin addict. Everybody know that. That's not no secret. Yeah, and so even when I was going through my time, he paid for me to go to my very first treatment center back in 1994.
Man, this is a great podcast, man. I really
you know what's great?
I appreciate you, man.
I do too.
I appreciate you. I love
what's great
you too,
about that is you had Mr. Belk, Coach. You had Coach
Garfinkel and Skip.
Yeah.
And for me, it was Coach Faulkner, Jerry Faulkner.
Yeah, Jerry Faulkner.
Oh, come on.
Great guy.
Yeah.
I played
talked
against
to him today. Yeah, I talked to him today. But this just like God just leading you there, like, all right, don't mess this up. Go out there and act like you can handle your business. This is an opportunity right here of a lifetime, especially for where we come from. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and just like, it's like the first lesson that you grasp where you first grown up, mature, handle your business moment that nobody else can just do for you. You have to go grab that yourself. So that's what I say this. That's a blessing about when you actually had that first opportunity to go grab.
Faulkner is a great guy, man.
Oh, he's like the second I call him my second dad.
Yeah, he was. When you talk to him, tell him I said hello because I played against him when I was at Providence Day. And that's when he was at Charlotte Latin too. Then, and because y'all was out big.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't stand y'all.
And he wouldn't let me get close to Morrow.
He was like, I remember recording.
Yeah.
I told him. So he knows you on here. We got to get him on.
Yeah. So
he wouldn't let me get close to Morrow. He said, "Who are you?" He had that eye. He said, "Who are you?" He Garfinkel's guy. Prove it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even let me see him.
Yeah, he was.
He would protect that. He knew.
Listen, when everything was confirmed, he had a little window. He pulled the shade up, and Morrow was down there on the gun.
Yeah.
He was hitting so.
Yeah, because I know a lot of guys, Eric Brawhurst and all of them played for him or partner over that a lot. And so, but man, but that's pretty much it. And that's what got me to Oak Hill.
Wow. So from Oak Hill, you, of course, you averaged, you was able to get a scholarship to Chaminade in Hawaii.
Well, I did. And I didn't get the scholarship to Chaminade.
Okay, let's run it down.
Well, when I went to Oak Hill, I was one of the top point guards in the country. I was a McDonald's All-American.
What year was that?
Yes, sir.
I went to Oak Hill 88 through 90.
Okay.
And so...
Yeah, a sophomore, so you get 2 years.
Well, I was a junior. When I went there my junior, my 11th and 12th grade year.
Oh, okay.
And so when I went there, I played with my junior year, and again, Carlos Cofield, me and Carlos had went up there. Now, prior to us going, there was a guy by the name of Larry Crowder from Miles Park, the smoothest lefty that you probably will ever see, him and Rodney Farrington during our time. Larry had went up there. Larry had went up there, but something happened. Nevertheless, he didn't stay. So me and Carlos went up there that year later, and when we went up there, I think we pretty started putting Charlotte on the map.
Right.
We went up there as a Charlotte tandem, and we started.
Right.
But I played with this guy by the name of out of the Bronx, by the name of Anthony Cage.
Wow.
Anthony Cage.
6'11", he was a Kevin Garnett before it was Kevin Garnett.
Wow.
If you don't hear all of these players that came out of Oak Hill. the best of the best, Carmella, all of them.
Yeah.
And those were some amazing guys. But I will put Anthony Cade, the best player to ever come out of Oak Hill before anybody.
Wow.
And Coach Smith, he will probably much go along with that. He was definitely, if you don't say the best, he's definitely top 3 hands down.
Right.
You got to have him in every category. You can't have a conversation about who the best player to ever come out of Oak Hill and not have Anthony Cade in there.
Wow.
That's what's up.
He was incredible. So we ended up my junior year, we ended up going like 24-2, and we ended up losing the championship game in Hawaii in the Iolana Classic to Flint Hill. That's when they had George Lynch, Randolph Childress, and they beat us. They beat us in overtime. Now they beat us on a questionable call, but nevertheless they beat us. And so that next year we came back, my senior year, and we had like 7 or 8 McDonald's All-American on that team, and we were stacked. And we ended up being was the number 1. That was Oak Hill first number 1 team in the nation right there.
Wow.
That was 88, 88
that was
90?
90. That was
90.
That was 89 and 90. That
First ranked team.
That wasn't the first ranked team because they always was ranked.
Right.
But that was the first number 1 team.
First number 1
yeah.
team.
Ended up national number 1 team. We was USA Today in the top number 1 national number 1 team, and that was the year I broke Ross Strickland's assist record.
Hold on, time out.
Yeah.
You broke Rod Strickland's assist.
Broke his record.
I broke Ross Strickland's single game assist record and the year assist records.
Rod went to Oak Hill.
Yeah, Rob went to Oak Hill in 1984.
Yeah.
And so
How many assists was that?
22 assists in 1 game.
That's crazy.
And so I averaged like 11 to 12 assists a game, one of the top assist leaders in the country. And, and I had a lot of top Division I offers.
Yeah.
I had major Division I offers, but what I did early on in my career in school, I didn't pay attention, I didn't listen. So when came time for me to take the SAT, I couldn't get a 700 on the SAT.
Right. Dang.
So my goals of going Division I pretty much went by the wayside. And once it went by the wayside, I ended up going to a junior college called Shawan Junior College with Coach Bob Burke. Shawan is where Nate the Great, where Nate McMillan went.
Yeah. Yep.
Before he went to North Carolina State. And so Coach Burke.
Shawan JUCO. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard of that.
Yeah, it was a top junior college in the country during
Right.
in the 90s and in the 80s. And so when Nate the Great went there, he put him on a map, and everybody knew about, because by that time, Nate was at North Carolina State and the main North. But Coach Burke was probably one of the best coaches I've ever had.
Word.
Wow.
He was the Bobby Knight
Right.
of junior college basketball. He was the Bobby Knight, and his son is actually the coach of Shawan now, the pedigree deep. And so I went there, but again, I still didn't do what I needed to do. And I went up there and I was getting in trouble, and I ended up getting kicked out of school. That's when I first started smoking crack, my freshman year of college. And so I went up there, really didn't do what I needed to do. I'm playing basketball and I'm not going to class, and I ended up getting kicked out of school because it's just all kinds of stuff. And then they let me back in. And then I had a chance to go to University of Alabama.
Well,
Wow.
After I left, that's when James Robinson had just left early and declared early for the NBA.
yeah.
And the Lakers had picked him up. Where they was looking for a point guard, but because my grades were still so bad in junior college, I couldn't go to a Division I school, the University of Alabama.
Right.
Okay, so again, opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, I'm just squandering it away, not taking advantage of the gift that God gave me.
Right.
But God never took his hands off of me, so I'm blessed on that because he still allowed me to go through what I needed to go through, but he said, I'm still going to put my hands on, I'm still going to cover you.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for my mistakes. So I end up, and I come back home, and I'm getting in trouble, and I'm getting high every day, but then I get another call from a coach by the name of Don Doucette. Don Doucette was coaching at North Carolina Asheville when I was at Oak Hill, and he was trying to get me, but he didn't think that he can get me because he thought that they was just too low for me.
Yeah.
But when he found out I was available, because I'm not in school no more, because I done got kicked out of Shawan again, and he had just got the head coaching job at Chaminade University in Hawaii. He called me and said, Corey, I just got the head coaching job at Chaminade, and I knew that was in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, do you want to come? I was like, absolutely. So I go to Chaminade, and I'm playing at Chaminade and end up getting kicked out of school again at Chaminade.
Let me say this, man. I mean, this got to be, and if you and you can agree, this is really a touching podcast because as I'm listening to him, the chances he had, and I'm flashing back in my life and then my brother's life, who actually went to prison, got shot 7 times, and got a scholarship to Wheeling College out of prison. So your story kind of, man, and you know what? It's for the listeners and the viewers. This right here, you can't get no better than this. This is the truth. This is what it is. Both sides of the game. What side do you want to be on?
Yeah, right. And that's so I love that name, both sides of the game, because that's amazing.
I'm going to tell you something. You can't do both.
No,
you can't.
I tried it.
Yeah,
I tried to be like stand out there in the corner, do my little thing, and go. It don't work.
It don't work
because you can't straddle a fence.
Nah.
You ever try to straddle a fence, try to jump over a fence and walk it? What happened? You know what happened. Your personal scope.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you can't straddle it, guys. So listening to Coach Baker. By the way, congratulations on his job, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
For real. It's serious, man. The information that you're putting out there for the listeners and the viewers is serious. You got to go to school.
You got to.
You know, and like you say, you know, somebody had to grab you, and then somebody came again and grabbed you.
Yeah.
But the man upstairs knew what was going on, and he said, you know what? I'm just gonna let him. Then I'm gonna put my hand on him, then I'm gonna bless him.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with this and all the job. And when I heard you speak at the funeral, I said, wait a minute. And Moore was there.
Yeah.
And he said, man, I didn't know he was that nice. He called me after it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. You know, so, man, you're right. The Lord has his hand on you.
Always on me, man.
And look now.
Yeah.
Look at the conversation you had with CJ.
Yeah. And that's the amazing part, because, and that's why I'm so grateful. That's why I'm so grateful every day. And that's why I don't take this role here at Hardin or any other coaching jobs that I had. And I done coached some of the big time. I done coached some very high level players. I mean, you know, I done had an opportunity, and it ain't because of me. I done had the opportunity to coach Dennis Smith Jr., Bam Adebayo. You know, when I coached Team Loaded, I got players in college. So I don't take these opportunities lightly, because God sent me through all of that for a reason.
Exactly.
He sent me that, and when Joe Badgett and Byron Dinkins came and got me after I got out of treatment and said, we're going to put you back, we're going to make sure you go back to college, and sent me to fight for university, I went in with a different mindset. So now I got a master's degree. I'm a therapist, and I've been working with kids for 28 years on things that I've been through, trying to help them navigate through this thing.
Yeah.
That's why I don't take this opportunity lightly, and that's why any kid come before me, if the only thing that I teach you is basketball, I'm doing you a disservice.
Facts.
If I can't teach you, and me and my coaching staff don't give you more than basketball, shame on me. Shame on my staff.
Well, I know you gave me a good coach, Coach Vince Walden.
Yes.
Coach at Texas A&M.
Yes.
He was great for my son. My son played at IMG with him. He's also with the substance abuse guy. And you know, it just was a blessing. Look, being here in Charlotte, man, is just I made the right choice, as well as my wife. We came down here and raised our kids, and got 2 beautiful kids, and I got a granddaughter, Natalia. You know, it's just a great atmosphere here, and knowing the richness of the history of basketball. Hearing this from you, I don't know, man. What do you think, Mo? I mean, you original from here. You guys original from Charlotte.
No, I mean, it's just,
I'm over here talking, going crazy.
You good? You good, Coach, man? I'm just soaking all the information.
Soak it up,
man.
give it up.
And
man. Come on.
so like I'm just sitting here thinking, you know, especially like Coach said, you speaking at Coach CJ's funeral, really kicked that into off. I'm like, yeah, man, I want to interview him.
Yeah.
You know, Coach said we got to get it done. It's been a long time coming for this. So I'm just, you know, I'm always intrigued and always inspired by people that their journey is not the straight and narrow and easy one, because God makes his soldiers, but you got to go through stuff.
Yes.
And then he uses you as a vessel to give it back to the community. So I'm looking at you right now, and I'm like, look at, he had the high school he started at. Just got the head coach. That's like, ain't nothing but God and a blessing right there. And look at the people around you. You had CJ, Kerry, all these guys, you know, all the guys that were speaking, man. It was so much. It was rich with just knowledge and love in there. You know what I'm saying?
It was.
And, you know, you know, on my journey of, you know, next stage of life of basketball, these are the kind of stories that everybody need to hear. It's inspirational. Yeah. Like, we never going to stop with our dreams and goals in the next phase of your life after basketball, which, you know, that could be crazy. You know, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to sometimes leave this and then go straight to something else. You know, that's not an easy thing to do. So I just really appreciate the, you know, the inspiration for real. So you know, you can see it on you. You can feel it.
Well, you know I think you know what, Ant-Man, and I watch you, you know, growing up playing, and then you had the summer league, and you know that's the story behind that. Because, you know, prior to you coming on, you know, me and CJ did the summer league.
Yeah, I remember that. I used to be up there.
Yeah, but just watching you play, man, and seeing what you're doing now, man. I admire what you're doing, because you're right. A lot of times guys finish an NBA career and they lost. They just don't know what it is and how to navigate. Yes, right.
They feel like they don't know who they are.
They lost because they was for so long they was caught up in basketball and people that cheers and people that, and then when that go, they like, man, what I supposed to do? But I think the thing about you was rooted by Charlotte Lightning and some great people, so you already knew, and you went to Georgia Tech, so you already knew once you left, okay, it's another phase of my life.
Right.
So you didn't struggle with that transition, at least not publicly. You probably had to deal with some stuff internally.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, internally, but you know, man, I admire what you're doing, man, and congratulations to all your success, man.
Thank you, OG.
Yeah.
I mean a lot coming from you, man.
Yeah. You know, me and Harold, you know, when we started together, and he got me involved, because I always knew about Firestar, but I ain't never know how to get an in a Firestar. But when he came down here, and he came with that hip slick and cool New York, yo, man, I was drawn to him. Yeah. And there was a lot of guys out, man, don't deal with I rocks with him. Yeah. That's my dude. I rocks with him. Yeah. And so he was like, yo, man, you want to go to Firestar Big? You need to be in. You need to be. And then he called, who was the big white guy you called? And he said he knew Tom.
Tom.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. What's funny is, it made he rest in peace as well. He said, sure, Hal. He says, bring him to the guard camp. Yeah. You know, bring him on. We had a big man camp and a guard camp. And the guard camp, the MVP was named after my brother, and then the big man camp was Moses Malone. Yeah. So I was like, Tom knows Corey Baker. He said, Hal, great player. He had a chance. Yeah. He did things. He did, you know how Tom, he kept it. That's why I get to Tom holding the book, whatever. Yeah. But I took Corey to the fight. I took him right there.
We took right there in New York. I'm going, and there was a week before we got back. A week before, it was 2001, because when we got back the next week, 9/11 happened.
Right.
And I had just been down.
Yep.
I had just.
Yep. He was down there. Yeah. He was in Charlotte.
Yeah. And then he took me to Queens, where he from. I thought I told you I thought I was about gangster. Man, he took me through Queen, boy. They was out there, but I was on his hip like this. I wasn't even inside. Straight, man.
I was good, man. And again, I'd already, left the streets. You know what I mean? I'm not proud. I'm not proud of that I was in the streets. Anybody that glorifies the street is a fool.
That ain't.
Because look at the youth right now. Most of the kids out there now, 13, 14, 15, they the ones doing all the crime.
Yeah.
Because they idolize dudes that was running in the streets. Instead of us taking time out to talk to them and not having them follow us, look what happened. Now we getting ready to almost lose a whole generation that we don't put our arms out and grab them back in and help them. Mm-hmm. The penitentiary is full of young kids, full of them. Yeah. Women and men, both. Mm-hmm. So I say, man, come on. I don't glorify that. I wish I would have stayed in school, and I used to laugh at guys that used to go to class and was a nerd. A lot of guys just nerds, they lawyers, the doctors, own companies now. So,
But the hit with that though, Harry, and I wish I had made it. Well, I can't even say I wish I had a. We the men that we are today because of that, Pastor.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it.
And I thank God every day for allowing me to go through it, because there's a lot of people go through it and don't come out on the other side.
No,
Our story on how we can help so many kids, that lost generation you talked about, because of who we are and what we've been through, we can be able to get to these kids because we understand them.
Man, it's time.
Yeah,
You know, I don't want to say we're running out of time, but let me tell you something. Man, we got some work to do.
Yeah, we got some work to do.
Yeah.
You know, being here in Charlotte really let me know that everybody talk, oh, New York. No, it's crazy all over.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and you have to have something to reach them with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something. We have to continue to talk to them. You know what I mean? Because of them, they're like, oh, them old timers, they don't know nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
You have to be able to get on their level.
Listen, I'm the first one to raise my hand that we dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Because I remember back in the days, dudes used to say, man, leave them young boys alone, they're crazy. You know, no, we should have just stepped right up to
Stepped
them.
right up.
And said, no.
And gave them hope like I was giving hope.
Yes, yes. So you know, as we, you know, in the podcast and just talk about things as we kind of like shut it down. Number one, you got to stay in school.
Yes.
Number two, you got to listen to your parents. You know, a lot of these kids out here now, they don't even listen to. You got to get. Your parents been here before you. They've been here before you. Let me tell you something. The streets is winning. They're not losing. The streets is winning. So when you get in the street, they're taking more of our youth away and putting them in the penitentiary. And you know, they building penitentiaries like, you know what I mean?
They start building them from the test scores and suspension of third graders.
Right. And three with the drugs. And number three with the drugs out here now, all of this stuff, you don't know what they doing. You know, I know 3 or 4 guys in New York that done OD.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I sit back, I go, wow, these guys, you know, so, you know what I mean? And last but not least, gotta have faith.
Yeah,
that's right.
Thank you.
We ain't preaching here. We just saying what we know and what we believe in.
Yes.
And what's the truth, because if we don't talk about it, how they gonna know about it?
Yes.
Huh?
That's got to be first. Yeah. And that's so important. I'm glad you put that in, because believing in a power greater than yourself and having faith in something bigger than you, man, that's the most important thing I know in my life, because I have to believe that it's a God and believe God can get me from one step to another. Because if I don't, I'm dependent on me. If I'm dependent on me, I already know.
Yeah.
You already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to mess it up every single time.
Well, listen, it takes a lot of heart to come on a podcast and talk about your addiction.
Yes.
Okay? It takes a lot to do that. You know, and I commend you for that, because when they watch this, and I hope a lot of these kids see it, and nah, man, this is real.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a really good. It's going.
This is real.
This is gonna be maybe the most impactful, just because people know you, but people may not have seen you around in a while.
Yeah.
And with you having this job, I think this is a great kind of
Story,
push.
man. It's a real
You know
story.
what I'm saying? Like a momentum and inspiration, not just for you, but for all of us going into this new chapter in your life.
Yeah.
Coaching Hardin University High School, head coach. So I think it's gonna be one of our better episodes in terms of knowledge, you know, and touching, really touching people's hearts.
Well, I definitely appreciate y'all having me on, man. And you're right, though, more. This is, I hadn't been around. So a lot of times people didn't know what was going on because I hadn't coached since 2018.
Yeah, see now, this to push you right back in the door. It's back active now. You know?
And so, that's why I told my assistant coach, I said I'm relying a lot on y'all, because since the last time I coached, some things done changed.
Yep.
The defensive scheme changed. Yep. Everything pick and roll now, and it's just it's a lot more different. Even though we can adjust and but I had to get humble, and I had to say, I know I ain't been around for a while, so let me go to people who's been in the game for the last 5 or 6 years and get that. So I got a mentor right now of a guy that I went to his practice the other day, and I talk to him every single day, and getting this vlog, because he's a high school coach around him. Yeah. And he took the time to say, you know what? I'm gonna, I'm doing it. And so I'm grateful to him that he ain't saying, well, no, yeah, I might have to go against me. He said, no, babe, come on, baby. And he invites me to everything, and he's helping me out with that. And I'm so grateful to him, and I listen to him like a little kid. I'm taking notes and everything.
Yeah, you got to.
Well, let's end on this note, okay? At 5-star, right, where the teaching never ends.
Never.
Yeah.
Just go back there, right? And
You're right.
I'm gonna leave you with this. I'm gonna leave you with this. Defense
That's the thing.
will turn in the offense.
All day long. You're right.
And down the line, you'll get a chip with defense. So preach that at your practices.
We're going to do
Because
that.
if you see with the Celtics, even though Kyrie Irving razzle and dazzle and do all this, right? You see what Holiday was on.
Yeah, he on him.
Holiday didn't want him to turn the corner or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Then they put Brown on him.
Same
So
thing.
at the end of the day, I'm not saying they out of it, because Kyrie Irving is a 5-star camper.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm saying I was brought up on defense. Denying
We all were.
Yeah,
That's my thing.
So
We had no choice.
I'm looking to shut you down 94 feet.
Oh, there you go. There's your answer.
You ain't just walking the ball up early. No, we're not doing that.
Well, there's your
We're
answer.
not doing that.
You want to close out with something?
Yeah, I just want to say, Coach, once again, congratulations, man. And what you said about the things have changed. You have to humble yourself and go get a good staff that's going to support you.
Yes.
The kids have changed a lot, too.
Yeah.
So be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Anything you need from me, I got you on that.
I got you, man.
I
I
mean,
need- we
we
need
work
to
a lot
play.
with kids. I train.
I
I do all that. So
Right.
that's an important thing to just to keep in mind, because you don't want to be blindsided by these kids. It's different. Ain't like when I was up under y'all growing up, we listen to everything y'all say. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
they kids, yeah.
Just building that, but you'll get that with building your culture. You're gonna build a culture here that hasn't been around
Yeah.
for a long time.
Right,
So
right.
it's a
He
good
gonna do
breath
some-
of fresh
he gonna do
air for
some
them,
work.
man.
Well, bro, I definitely appreciate
once
And don't
again,
forget this: are you coachable? Yeah, don't
Shout out
forget
to
that.
Coach, I love that.
Yeah. Coach wore a perfect shirt today, man. Just in case any of your players watching.
Yes, are you coachable?
Yeah, that's the key, man. That's the key. So where we at? We gonna show you some love, man.
Man, appreciate it,
Coach.
baby.
Yes, sir.
You know what it is.
Appreciate it,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it,
Thank
man.
Yeah, both sides of the game.
Thank
We
you
signing
guys,
off.
man.
Real. Our video guys right here. Big D.
Shout out
He
to
keeps
D.
D keeps us.
My guy.
Keeps us above water. You know
That's
what I mean?
right,
We don't need
man.
a life jacket with him.
Gonna take care.
He'll get us to shore.
He get us right. Keep us right. Well,
Signing off. Go ahead, man.
nah, we good. We signing off, man. Episode 11, man. We glad to be back. We're gonna be more consistent and keep working. Summertime. Everybody be blessed. Stay safe. God bless.
And look out for Harden Rams.
Look out, we coming. It's a Ram stampede.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.